It says you're live.
There you go. The U.S. Open has arrived.
You're live.
Exciting time, right?
Yeah.
Sound check, microphone check, 1, 2. What is this? Little small microphone with the roughneck business. All right. We ready to go? Little Tribe Called Quest?
Yeah, good band.
Great, actually.
I listen to them, a lot.
All right. Hello and welcome to yet another major here at 5K Tennis. It's Carla's favorite tournament of the year, and that is the U.S. Open. Are you excited about that?
Not really.
Why?
Just seems odd. A lot of people pulling out. A lot of my favorites can't play. Yeah, I'm not as excited as I was earlier.
A lot of your favorites can't play or aren't playing. Who are they? We know Nadal.
Serena.
Okay.
That to me was the huge bummer for me. Serena not playing to me was like, damn.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. On today's show, we will be talking with all of you. So please comment at will, and we will definitely take all your comments or the most that we can. So start the chat. Let's go. We will, at the end of the show, Carla and I will tell you our fantasy teams and our predictions for the men's finals and the women's finals and the winners. We'll do that at the end. So if you are playing the fantasy team competition and the tennis racket giveaway competition / $300 pot competition, then stay tuned to the end of the show if you want to know how we set up those teams. But better yet, watch the video on this playlist titled 2021 Fantasy Team and Tennis Racket Giveaway Competition for the U.S. Open. And in the first 10 minutes of that 40-minute or so video, you'll have the instructions there. So don't forget to check that out, and good luck to all the competitors. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Don't forget to subscribe. That's the only way the only thing you have to do to qualify for those $400 in cash and prizes. So don't forget to do that.
Did you mention the whole thing about the picks? Like once you lock it in?
I'll do that when we read them at the end.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. All right, so let's get into it. We printed the draws out as soon as they came out, and we got right to work on the draws. Now, the qualifier spots are not done yet because they have not finished round 3 of qualifying. That will be tomorrow. So when we tell you our fantasy teams, there is a slight chance that we will change ours. Now, remember, we don't win our own stuff, so we just do it to compete with you. But we may change our teams. But when you select your teams, don't change it. I mean, you can, but don't change it before you submit it or after you submit it, because sometimes we miss it and then you miss out. Yeah. All right. You want to start with the men's side or the women's side first?
Well, let's just say that I think you had a hard time with your draw, right?
Well, it was easy for me because we're on the men's side because I feel like it's Djokovic and the rest of the field. So I kind of treated the men's side as Djokovic and the rest of the guys. If you play fantasy team, I only have one point player. If your players are seeded in the top 20 in the tournament, they're only worth 1 point per match win. So in my entire draw selection sheet, I only picked one player that was seeded in the tournament in the top 20 when it came to fantasy teams, because I felt like it was Djokovic and everyone else. Right?
Yeah. It took me literally 3 minutes with the guys. 2 minutes with the girls. That's how quick I did my draw.
I spent like an hour.
I was like, done.
All right. Let's start. I'm going to ask Carla questions. So we'll kind of do it this way. Usually we kind of go back and forth, but sometimes it gets a little long. So what we'll do is we're going to start with Djokovic's top section. Carla, in that section, does anyone even come close to threatening Novak?
Not till he gets to the semifinals. No, Djokovic he's a solid player, number one. So I guess I can't say easy draw. He just makes it look easy. So no, I don't see anyone, not one person in his top half doing anything. They will be lucky to just get there.
He does have a big hitting Jen-Leonard Struff. He does have a long-winded, at least used to be able to be long-winded Nishikori, and he does have
Nishikori. He owns Nishikori.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just building some matches for the first couple of rounds. I don't think he'll have any difficulty either. David Goffin, fine player he is, injury prone. I have him losing first round. Yeah, I have Mackenzie McDonald beaten.
Yeah,
Goffin as well.
Yeah.
So good luck there. Moving down to the next section, where your 2 seeded players in that section are Karatsev. On the bottom of that section is Di Manor. Taylor Fritz is in that section. Berrettini's in that section.
I actually left that pretty empty, pretty open where Berrettini is, because we know he's still injured. He hasn't played much on hard courts. So he's very vulnerable.
Wait a minute. Berrettini's not in that section. You're on the you're on. I'm right here. The section. Karatsev to Di Manor.
Oh, I'm looking at both of these. Right.
Wow,
here.
She did only spend 2 minutes on her draw sheet.
Well, no,
we're talking sections, not quarters.
Okay, no, I have Di Manor losing in the first round as well.
Okay, yeah, you went way too fast there.
Sorry.
So I'm in sections, not quarters and not halves. I'm in sections. Okay. Next section, spanning 10 players or so.
Right.
Duh. Are Karatsev and Di Manor. There's a few players in here that I think we have to at least be excited to watch. Number one, Brooksby, the young American. He's like, what, 6'4", 18, 19 years old. He just made it to the semifinals in Washington. I think Yannick Sinner, if I'm correct, I think Yannick Sinner beat him there in 3 sets. I like this kid, Brooksby. I took Brooksby as my 3-point player on my fantasy team, so I'll go ahead and tease that out there. I took Brooksby in that section. I think everyone's figured out Karatsev by now. When Karatsev first jumped on the scene, Carla and I said that his game was semi-predictable. And everybody is like, no, that's why he's winning. That's why he's hot. And that's why he's, an old man, the running things, it's, he was coming around and he's kind of a veteran, but yet he was dominating early.
Right.
And Carla and I said, and I forget which show it was, it's been a while ago, we said that he has kind of a predictable game. I bet you when he plays enough matches and puts YouTube matches out there that people will figure him out and he will do so well. And that's what has occurred.
Right.
So I stayed away from Karatsev there. I think his time and the top 30, top 40 is limited.
I did too. I stayed away from him. I mean, I think he'll win his first round.
I have Munar beating Karatsev. I
don't think so.
I think Jamie, the grunting Munar, he's a heavy grunter. I think Munar beats Karatsev in that first round.
Okay. I have him winning. And then I had, I know you're rooting for Brooksby, but I think he'll get through Mikhail. How do you say his last name? Waymeyer.
Where are you at?
Brooksby. We were talking about Brooksby.
Yimmer.
Yimmer.
Michael Yimmer from Sweden.
I think he'll get through him, actually.
I do too.
But I didn't want to pick him as my wild card, and I haven't picked one yet. But then I looked at Di Manor, which you were talking about, and Fritz. I always go for the Americans at the U.S. Open. I give them a good shot. I pick a lot of Americans. So I went Fritz defeating Di Manor.
Even though the chances of the Americans winning are slim to none.
Yes, but I pick him doing good in the first few rounds. So I think Fritz will get through that and even beat the 19 or 18-year-old.
Yeah, I took Brooksby. Again, I have a lot of faith in this young man. Do I think he's going to win a major? No. Do I think he's going to win a Masters 1000 anytime soon? No. But, he's young. He's got the height. He's got the, the build for it. And he's ready to go. I don't win my own thing. So I said, I'm going to jump on Brooksby. Yimmer could take him out. But I don't think so. I think Brooksby wins this match. Moving down to the next section, 2 top seeds in that section are the mighty Hurkacz and the Sonego. I say the Sonego because when Djokovic lost to Sonego, we said that when people tank matches, we call it a Sonego. Anyway, Sonego, I don't have really any devotion to outside. He's a good player and a fighter, but Hurkacz, I think, is the guy to beat in this section.
Look what I did. I didn't even put his name because I believe that even a qualifier had a chance against him. So I left it empty, like right where empty, completely empty.
Yeah, you just left Sonego out. Does anyone agree with Carla that Sonego is not really a player that should be seeded number 20 in a major? I don't know. I've kind of turned the corner a little bit on it. Maybe about a year ago, or not a year ago, whenever Djokovic lost that match to Sonego, I kind of laughed about it after he solidified his weeks at number 1, and then he lost to Sonego. I think he beat Borna Coric trying to attain that, and then lost to Sonego the next day. I kind of laughed it off, but nonetheless, I've watched Sonego play a lot since then, and Sonego Sonego can ball. He can play the game. He's a soldier. But 20 seed, not quite sure about that.
Yeah, I've got, I know a lot of guys saying Hurkacz could go far, but I actually got Fusovic beating Seppi and then beating Hurkacz. I was watching my man last night. He lost to Alcaraz, which looks like another man. And oh my God, I wanted to complete the match, but he wouldn't let me.
There you go.
Woo!
Oh, I'm like, we were watching this Alcaraz against Fusovic, and it was a good match, but it was not terrible. It wasn't terribly exciting, and I don't have a man crush on Fusovic. She does. So, what do we turn it to? Like the news?
Carlos, the future Iron Man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I had to go back. Like, I'm like, are you still watching your show? He's like, well, I'm listening to it. I'm like, go right back.
Exactly.
Even Michael Walker was texting me. He's like, your Iron Man's playing. Ryan Mason, your Iron Man's playing. I think Wildlife even texted me, your Iron Man's playing.
So look, a tight little section there. Her catch is in there. Seppi is in there. Journeyman, longtime veteran. Dennis Kudla, by the way, an American. You say you always go for the Americans. He's in there. Kudla's been a journeyman for a long time. Laszlo Giri is in there, the Serbian. What's up, Giri?
He's gonna have a tough time with beating Giri, though. Kudla is.
But in my opinion, just above Sonego is waiting on the qualifier to be assigned. So those of you playing fantasy team, if you don't have a lot of faith in Sonego and a good qualifier gets in that spot, then that could be a good pick for you for a 3-point player. Just want to tease that out there. The next section I thought was kind of lackluster. Players Fognini, Pospisil, Sandgren, Ivashka, Mutet, Travaglia, Chardy, and Berrettini. I really feel like by far the seeded players are favored to meet one another moving forward into the third round, and that would be Fognini and Berrettini. Berrettini, I think, emerges from that and creeps into the fourth round.
Jack Nolte asked, did you see Sasha's accusations back in Spotlight?
Yes,
I did.
yes.
I did, and that's what happens when you start winning more stuff comes out of you. Sort of like the guy who got the job at Jeopardy and stuff started coming out.
Oh, you heard about that?
Yeah, so anytime you become famous or you're on top of the world, that's when all the secrets, all the stuff that you have hidden starts coming out.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens.
It always happens that way.
So basically, you could say if I was ever running for president, that before
your stuff would come out.
I'm out. I'm done.
Out. Yeah, your stuff would come out. Someone sent me. I think it was Gene. Gene, you sent me something about Zverev, or was it you, Jack Nolte, that sent me that information? I have to look back. Anyways, go ahead.
All right. I do see Fognini, Berrettini matching up in the third round, and Berrettini emerging into the fourth round. And ultimately, I think Berrettini will face Djokovic in the quarterfinals. I think that was pretty run of the mill. That top half of the draw. I don't think it was too difficult for that. And the bottom half of the draw and the bottom half of the top is where it gets interesting. First round, Zverev plays Querrey. Lights out match. Querrey and a first round is dangerous. Big serving American. Been there, done this before. Been there, done this for what, 15, 16 years? Mm-hmm. Querrey can ball. Met this guy, hit with them in New Hampshire at one point at Dartmouth University for a camp that was going on there. Wonderful guy, talented guy, very smart guy. So Zverev, I'm not saying is going to lose this match, but Zverev has to be careful with the big serving Querrey. If this was a fourth round matchup with the veteran Querrey, I would say, Zverev would cruise through it, straight sets. Do you think, Carla, Zverev has a chance to lose to the mighty Sam Querrey?
No, Sam Querrey is
not even a chance.
So no, I don't think so. Hardcore even less, and it's hot. So if you're not in shape, more the guys that are in better shape, skinnier guys, they do a lot better in this. We're watching right now the qualifying rounds, and we're watching many players struggle, especially the real big muscular guys.
They were kind of
which makes me really happy because I love watching players go through the heat because it proves who's the best athlete. I love it, and it's great for Djokovic because we all know he loves to play in heat and humidity, right, guys?
Yeah, the Zverev Querrey match, I think, is the biggest match of the first round, in my opinion, on the men's entire draw. In my opinion,
you think so?
I think it's the match that has the biggest upset potential. You see what I'm saying? There's not another top of the world player that's meeting someone with at least a chance to beat them in the first round. In my opinion, someone as big as Zverev, like Djokovic is facing a qualifier that hasn't been announced yet. Do you see what I'm saying?
Brett de Manor could lose, but he's not like the super top seed. He's 14 in this draw.
Well, and we have who is playing Murray?
Tsitsipas.
So that's another big opportunity there. But Murray is not in the type of I guess you could say match freshness type setting that Querrey would be. Querrey's been playing a lot.
Kachanov is another one that could lose to Lloyd Harris too.
But
that's another one.
Kachanov's a 25 seed and not a 4 seed or a 3 seed.
True.
So
I get your point.
That has big upset implications.
Yes.
One person I like in the bottom or below Zverev is Lucas Pouille. Now, Lucas Pouille, some of you may not even know who Pouille is. But Lucas Pouille's been around a long time. Lucas Pouille, I think, just recently changed over to a Babolat sponsorship with the Pure Drive, but for the longest time, Lucas Pouille was a fellow Prince guy. At least I do Prince stringing machines. He did Prince rackets, but Lucas Pouille was a top player in the world for a while and has had some problems with some injuries. Watch out for Pouille down there. Moving down, Jack Sock. I wanted to bring this up. Jack Sock is a wild card. Does anyone think that Jack Sock can and will beat Nishioka?
I was going to pick him, but you know why I changed my mind?
You were going to pick Jack as your 3-point wildcard player?
You know why I changed my mind?
Why?
After watching the qualifiers struggle and how good of a shape they are, Nishioka is that small type of player that's not going to use a lot of energy, whereas Jack Sock is going to be hitting try to hit these big forehands, and he's not quite 100% tennis fit. And that's why I thought Nishioka would have a better chance winning in the heat.
Yeah, that's right on spot. Jack Sock for the longest time has been out of shape. Even prior to his injury issues and off-court woes, he's been out of shape. Jack Sock was a top 10 player at one point in time. That was one of the players, in my opinion, that was not supposed to be there in the first place. I think he won, the Paris Masters one year at the end of the year. Some people were taking time off. He slid into the ATP finals. Anyway, I don't want to beat a dead horse with that. I've said it 1,000 times. But that is right on top. I mean, right on point. Jack Sock will have a problem in the scorching heat of New York. We have checked the weather prior to this, and there is high heat indexes all next week in New York in the mid-90s, and I think that will play into Jack Sock's overall game plan against Nishioka because Nishioka will run all day.
He'll run all day.
Yeah.
That's why I said, you know what? I said I wouldn't want to be facing someone that's smaller in size and more able to
agile, quick.
He's agile.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the word. So that's why I said no way.
Yeah. Now, when I started trying to jot down rough drafts of my fantasy team selections, my first selection before I even saw the draw for my only one 3-point player was Jack Sock as the wild card, right? Then I got to looking at the draw, and then I saw the weather, the heat, and Carl and I were like, no, that wouldn't be smart. I don't think he can. Maybe he wins one round, but I don't think he can win two. And then Nishioka, we found out was his opponent, and Nishioka can just run all day long. So we said probably not.
The crowd would have to pump him at night, and it would have to be a night match. And I doubt that they're going to put Jack Sock on a night match.
Maybe not. But they're gonna put matches like Tsitsipas Murray. They're gonna put matches like a Djokovic is gonna play on Ash every match anyway. So they're gonna put those matches in the night session. I doubt that Sock's gonna be on Ash or anywhere like that at nighttime, at least for the primetime matches. It's possible. By the way, there's a major hurricane that is approaching where we live once again. So next week, if for some reason we're not doing shows and the US Open has started, it's either because of two reasons. Number one, there's no power, the internet's knocked out, heavy winds, whatever. Or two, there's some type of evacuation thing or whatever. But stay tuned for that. Sorry to deviate. Moving down a little bit, I wanted to bring up Gael Monfils just for a moment.
Yeah.
Gael Monfils, Carla and I have said this for, I don't know, a decade and a half, maybe longer. We followed this young man coming out of the juniors. One of the greatest athletes, in my opinion, on the planet, or maybe was during his prime. One of the greatest athletes that never was, kind of like Thomas Berdych or David Ferrer or the list of players that never won that big one. How far do you think Monfils goes in this tournament? He's got.
I haven't gone all the way to losing in the third round to Sinner.
Now look, he's got a lights out opponent in the first round, the young Coria. If he gets through Coria,
Federico Coria's not that young.
How old's Federico Coria? 23, 24.
20s.
I don't know. I'm 44, so someone in their 20s is, maybe it's just a metaphor. But Coria is not super old. If he gets through that match, then he has Steve Johnson. Okay, I think that's a cakewalk for him. But then Yannick Sinner. So Monfils doesn't have an easy draw. Monfils
29.
Okay, so Monfils, good research. Appreciate that.
His brothers, remember?
Yeah, Monfils has made a tournament final every year for the past 16 years until this year, right? Does he come near the second week here? Second week for Monfils?
Definitely not. I think Jack Sinner will take him out. Good question, being how Tsonga versus Monfils, who's more athletic? I would have to say Monfils. Tsonga is definitely out of shape. He's in dad's shape right now.
Currently or through their whole career? Like
right now, or currently, even through their whole career, I would say definitely Monfils is the better athlete.
When Tsonga beat Federer down 2 sets, came back and beat Federer in 5. What was it, the 2011, 2010 Wimbledon? maybe 2009. No, because Federer won in 2009 against Roddick. Anyway, but Tsonga was Mike Tyson, beast looking, killing it then. But now Monfils, better athlete.
Well, he's his whole career. Well, the whole career, the better career would have been Tsonga because he got further into the slams if we're looking at it that way. The overall package, I would say Monfils.
Monfils has had the longer career, at least by staying involved. Tsonga has gone away for a while. Monfils, kind of comes and goes.
Had 2 kids, I think.
Yeah.
Beautiful wife.
Yeah, exactly.
He's happy. When you're happy, it's kind of, I think when you're really happy in your personal life, it's kind of hard to get hungry at a later stage. Meaning these guys get married, they're in their late 30s. They're looking at it, damn, like, why do I have to keep working as hard as I did in my 20s? I'm happy. I've got a wife. I got kids now. I want to live my life, enjoy them. So tough setup for Monfils for sure. Yannick Sinner is in this bottom half of the top of the draw. You picked Korda, Sebastian Korda. Yes, I thought he had a great draw.
Yeah, she's a big Korda fan, so she jumped on his train for her fantasy team. We'll get to that a little bit later. Riley Opelka is in the mix. We always talk about how American players generally meet up in the first round or 2 of majors. Luckily, we didn't get that with Opelka. Opelka's playing Kwan in the first round and then a Rusty Musetti on a hard court. And then the second round, I think Opelka and Korda, both U.S., I think they will. I mean, I kind of look at Korda as not U.S. I get he's born here and he's from here, but his family is 1 generation removed.
You can say the same about me, though.
About you.
Yeah, I mean, you can't look at it that way.
Well, when you look at Carla, do you think of her as American or do you think of her as Honduran? They wouldn't even have guessed from Honduras if you wouldn't have told them that. Or Spanish then, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, if you just looked at Carla one time, didn't know who she was, and you said, okay, where are you from? And she said, the U.S., but I'm 1 generation. I'm
from China, actually.
Yeah. So anyway.
Alex said American. Probably because of the way I speak, right, Alex? Even though English is my second language. Let's see. So, I got Korda beating Bashvili, your favorite wife beater.
Really? First round?
First round, yeah.
That's good. Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, you didn't see that?
Where are you at?
I went back to Korda. Yeah.
Bashvili, I have it written here with you. I have Korda written as well. So I'm with you there. I have Korda losing to Opelka, though. Now, the thing about being a 7-footer with Opelka is we've been talking about the heat. Heat on Opelka would be just like the heat on Jack Sock, right? Sure. Opelka's in shape. He's not fat.
The serve will help him.
But
get through the points quicker.
He's going to have to serve big and play a lot of tiebreakers to do this. But I think he will do that. Yeah. Just below.
Your favorite wife beater. Yep. That's his.
Yeah. Just below in the last half of the top of the draw, we have Kachanov, Lloyd Harris. So two big boys right out of the gates. We have Tommy Paul down there and we have Shapovalov. We got Cuevas, Escobedo, Tommy Paul, Carbeas, Baena.
Yeah.
But look,
I got Shapo going through all the way.
I think Shapovalov and Kachanov meet off in the 3rd round. For me, it's a coin toss. You got 2 OVs, OV and OV, Shapovalov and Kachanov. So you got 2 OVs. They both can ball. If Kachanov is serving 80% first serves, getting a lot of free points off the serve, and Shapovalov is still jumping and hitting his one-hander, and Kachanov can play to that side, being the lefty, he's going to have to kind of flip the script and play the lefty backhand, which would put him on the deuce side of the court. So he's going to have to tactically switch a couple gears. But I think Kachanov can get through it. I think Kachanov will beat Shapovalov if they meet. So we're going to disagree there, only because Shapovalov is prone to leap at his one-hander and really shank the ball.
I think, have we heard that what Djokovic said, the surface is faster?
Yeah.
He's not the only one that says that. Someone with a big, awful forehand drops the hand down. He doesn't put the racket up, drops it, brings it all the way back, is going to have trouble when the ball is coming faster at you to adjust.
Kyrgios does the same thing. So does Tiafoe.
Yeah, but he gets under it. He sets up this way. Khachanov opens up like a bird when he hits his forehand.
Yeah.
And Gomez too. I don't know if he won or lost, but I don't think that he has a shot here.
I
think he could go down the first round, actually.
Speaking of Ernestus Gulbis, if he comes through qualifying, he would be someone worth looking at for your 3-point play. And that's why I say when we read our fantasy teams at the end, it's very possible we change ours. I just want you guys to see the format if you're going to play for the cash. But I have a couple players, and I'm going to read them, but some of them I may change for that very reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for me, heat and everything, I'm like, big guys are going to suffer in this. Anyone who has loopy shots, that we were watching Coco Gauff train, and I told him, I said, why hasn't she changed her forehand? I feel like it's too juniorish, with the whole loop coming around. I feel like it takes time away. You need compact strokes. I knew Medvedev has a big backstroke too, but he flattens it out.
So from a coaching perspective, why is that a negative aspect of someone's game to have that big backswing?
Someone's hitting the ball hard with a lot of pace flat, you're gonna have a hard time getting the ball back. Adjusting, you're gonna hit it like this, which is what Nadal does, or off your back foot,
or meet it late.
Yeah,
meet the ball late, spray it cross court.
Yes.
So big loopy backswings are tough. When I was 19 or 20 and rackets changed from wooden to more of a kind of a graphite, mixture, and then now to the super light stuff, I had to change the whole game. We had time for the big backswing because the ball wasn't coming as fast. So it's a tough deal to change from the big backswing to the more compact backswing because it throws your timing off. So good luck to those guys to change it. But do you believe in teaching an old dog new tricks or no? Do you think?
Yes. Well, yes, you definitely can. Yeah, I've changed my forehand over time. My father would show me, with the wooden racket, 1, 2, 3, 4, come around.
The 4 points,
Right. And then so I would try to hit it open stance, and my dad's like, no, put your foot out in front,
Yeah.
And then I would kind of like smack it. He's like, no, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, as I became a junior and started playing tournaments, the loop became less as I started playing with the Prince graphite rackets.
Yeah.
It became less.
Had the V with the extra notch in the middle.
As I got better and then my rackets became Yonex, I stopped. I actually hit my forehand when I was 18. My racket would come down and then go through it, down and through it. And then I changed it as I got older. Now you see how I hit it.
Yeah.
I came to the conclusion that I need to do this instead and come around. I picked that up on my own because my coach would say down and then go through it.
Well, yeah, and sorry to sidetrack into the coaching world, but there's two different ways we can approach that. Well, there's multiple ways, but there's kind of the more contemporary way, and then there's more of the vintage way. And then there's two versions of the contemporary way. So now you'll kind of teach pat the dog. So if there's a dog sitting here, you pat the dog on the head, while you're turned, and then come around. Or you can have a vertical racket with the nice handle to wrist angle, and then point the butt of the grip at the ball, and then come over that way, both giving you a lot of hand movement to generate spin, power, and control. So I think that's tit for tat there. But yes, I do agree with you that Kachanov, Tiafoe have a lot of room for improvement on the forehand side.
Absolutely.
Anyway, moving all the way to the semifinals. Who do you predict top half of the draw semifinal?
I had Djokovic, and I left question. Doesn't matter who you're facing in the quarters. I put doesn't matter because you're going to win anyway.
What about the semi?
I have Djokovic against Zverev.
All right. I have the same thing. Ultimately, in my opinion, as we move to the second half of the men's draw, I honestly think it's Djokovic and everybody else. So Djokovic, if I had to bet against the field, I would take Djokovic. Carla, on the other hand, said she does not think Djokovic will win his 21st major and that she would bet on the field. Can you put a poll question in there?
Sure.
Who do you think wins, Djokovic or the field? So who wins, Djokovic, A, B, field? I'm taking Djokovic to get it.
I can't do it. Well, I can add an option.
No, okay, no. Who wins? Djokovic, field. All right.
Hold on. It kind of. Okay, there we go.
So if that match happens, who wins that match? From what I gather, more and more people are choosing Zverev to beat Djokovic if that match occurs. Would you agree with that, or would you not agree with that? I mean, you said you picked him, but
I picked a Zverev final with Medvedev.
I thought you were just doing that to be different.
No.
So you believe that?
Yeah, I do believe it.
Okay. So I disagree there. I think Djokovic, if that match happens, will beat Zverev handily. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna add option here.
Spelled it wrong, but that's all right.
I'll fix it.
All right. Don't worry about it. All right. Bottom half of the men's draw. Rublev in the top section, and the other seeded player in that section, Krajinovic. Tiafoe is in there. He's my upset alert in that top half. Okay.
Okay, go ahead, keep talking.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
All right. Rublev is, in my opinion, the best player in this section, but Tiafoe out there was enough for me to want to take an outlandish pick in this U.S. Open. I think Tiafoe comes through this section. Call me crazy. Okay,
I
that's enough.
almost picked him. Go ahead. You can't talk while I'm doing it.
Anyway, Tiafoe, I think, comes through the section. Call me stupid, but this is one of my outlandish picks. I always do a few of them. This is my outlandish pick and this section. Upset alert number 1. Tiafoe comes through the section and is victorious over Rublev if they meet.
I did the same thing. I thought that he had a good chance beating Rublev.
Yeah.
I just don't see Rublev as being solid on hard courts.
Yeah.
I think he hits too many balls and he's super skinny. He needs to go watch Alcaraz. The boy is 18 years old. I don't like him. I don't have a crush on him. He's not my type. He reminds me of my son. He looks like my son, not built like my son because he's smaller. But this kid started at 16 years old, right? Now we're looking him at 18. Obviously, he's putting work in the gym. I mean, when the kid hits, it's solid, you know? These guys should go watch, you know, how can I get those legs? How can I get a back like that? How can I get abs and arms like that? Because you need it. You need a little bit of it to play the longer matches and to last. So that's why I don't pick Rublev to even go far.
Yeah, but it's the end of the year. Rublev still has a lot of work to do in the gym with his body. He's still wiry. You know, I can't say lanky because he's not crazy tall. But, you know, he's not the most ripped up dude. And Tiafoe is ripped up. He's jacked up, to tell you the truth. He is just absolutely the brawn jacked up. And Tiafoe's in his backyard with nothing to lose.
And the crowd is going to be
and the crowd at full capacity is going to cheer for him.
Definitely.
Watch out for Tiafoe. Teasing this out there, I chose Tiafoe on my fantasy team as well. So upset alert, Tiafoe comes through that section. Moving down lower, Bautista Agut playing Nick Kyrgios in the first round. Now, this is an exciting match. In my opinion, the most exciting match in terms of, if you're not worried about great tennis per se, and you're worried about just excitement and crowd getting into it and booze and all this stuff, the Nick Kyrgios is on the court. Nick Kyrgios, I'll tell you this as well. I picked him on my fantasy team. Why? Because he has nothing to lose either. Absolutely nothing to lose, and he doesn't particularly care that much. You know, that's just Nick Kyrgios, right? So Nick Kyrgios, I think, goes through Bautista Agut. And in that section, outside of a couple qualifiers, Feliciano Lopez is in there, respectively. There's Felix Auger-Aliassime. Now, I think Felix Auger-Aliassime and Kyrgios played not terribly long ago, right? We watched the match. Who won that? I forgot.
I don't remember.
I forget who won that. Who won that recent matchup between FAA and Kyrgios?
Wait, no. Did he even play it? I thought he pulled.
Did he pull out right before
it? I thought he pulled out. He's been pulling out of a lot of stuff, and that's why I couldn't pick him.
So, but Kyrgios is going to have nothing to lose. You know, he loved
Wimbledon, he said.
Yes, and you know, and who won that match? Was it Kyrgios or was it Felix?
I think it was Kyrgios retired versus Felix. That's what I was saying. Look,
something. Yeah, thank you. Shit, I forgot what I was going to say.
You're talking about Nick Kyrgios?
Totally spaced.
Playing Bautista Agut?
Anyway, man, I forgot. That's when you read stuff and it throws me off.
Okay, well, he was answering your question.
Okay, so I forgot what I was going to say, but nonetheless, Kyrgios is potentially very dangerous. I know what I was going to say. Kyrgios is in New York City. He's in the U.S. He loves that limelight stuff. He loves to throw down. He loves to be all like, what's up, in his own way, right? He loves to get the crowd. There's going to be full capacity, and you know they're going to put him either in Armstrong or on center court. You know that, right? You know, Kyrgios loves to come out in Jordans and bring his, you know, tennis sneakers in his fingers. Kyrgios loves to come out into a basketball jersey. I'm guaranteeing you, Kyrgios walks out with a New York Knicks jersey of some sort on. Maybe he has a Ewing jersey or a John Starks jersey or an Allen Houston jersey. Breaks out something modern, old Jeremy Lin jersey. Who knows what he'll come out with? But he's going to do that, and I can assure you he'll come out with some type of New York jersey on, maybe a Yankees hat, and he'll feed into that, and that's what makes him dangerous, right? So I have Kyrgios on my fantasy team. I have Kyrgios beating Bautista Agut, and I do have Kyrgios potentially beating Felix Auger-Aliassime in round 3. But why am I saying potentially? because he may pull out, he may be hurt, or he may be injured by then.
Yeah.
You know, he may put all his energy into that first round match simply to get some, you know, limelight, some more sponsorship deals here in the US or whatever, and then just bail out, you know, put on one good show. You know, he's like a hip hop artist in a way. He comes out, does a show, good show in New York, and the next night they go to Sioux City, South Dakota and do the worst show ever. You know, that's okay. And then they go the next night to LA and do a big show. So he's in the limelight. He's got a first round match. Surely the producers know this and will throw him on a court so he gets the bomb publicity. But after that, it's an uncertainty. But I do know that Kyrgios will beat Bautista Agut.
It's very open though. If you look at that section, Justin, right? I couldn't pick Kyrgios just because you don't know if he's healthy or not. But there's qualifier, Museveri, Lopez, Feliciano Lopez, qualifier, and Felix Sachet. So it's very open.
It's open.
So that's why I left that completely empty. I just didn't know. I didn't even fill the quarters on that one, on that top section.
The next section I'm interested in. A lot of you may laugh at it if you're looking at your draws along with us. I wish we had enough technology to put it on the screen. Don't know how to do that. I guess I can learn. 4 kids, 5 kids, actually. Not enough time in the day to do that. However, the next section, it's not a super a star-studded lineup, but there's a couple players in here that I want to see this tournament. Number 1 is Benoit Pierre. I'm not a fan at all, but he has been kind of the dickhead of tennis for about the past year. And he just keeps putting a little effort in here and winning a match and then just absolutely gets destroyed the next match. I'm interested to see what he does in New York City with the whole world watching.
He
number
likes
1.
that too. He'll play Lajovic, which he could beat, you know, the one-handed player.
Yeah.
He could beat Lajovic.
Christian Garin's in here as well. He's a fine player as well. I enjoy watching him play. Lajovic, the Serbian's in there as well, and Ugo Humbert.
I didn't even fill that section up.
Ugo Humbert, I'll let it out now. I picked him on my fantasy team. I could not resist picking Ugo Humbert as a 2-point player in that section. I think he's by far the better player in that section. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, hey, if I can get Ugo Humbert for 2 points to get through a couple of rounds, then I'm doing really well. Mm-hmm. So I think Ugo Humbert wins a couple of rounds.
That's a good pick.
Okay,
I didn't think about him.
All right, next section, we have the seeds highlighting these sections, or this section is Cam Norrie, which starts out with a really good match against the young Carlos Alcaraz, who now we have watched play a lot, watched him play last night, watched him destroy your boy Ironman Fusovic. He was dealt a bagel in that match, by the way. Yeah. But came out victorious in the third. So I'm interested to see that. I do think Alcaraz will beat Cam Norrie.
I do too. I have upset alert. I put it here. I circled it big. Alcaraz.
Okay. Another Serbian in that section, Kekmanovic, Mormir, good player. Watch out for him in there.
We heard so much about him in the beginning. Do you remember 2 years ago? We heard a lot about Kekmanovic. He's kind of disappeared as well. Makes you think, right?
Yeah, and so has Jiri. Jiri got hot there for a while.
We just never know with these guys, you know, who's going to be the next top. Yeah, go ahead.
And the biggest match potentially of the tournament, at least in the first round, the biggest match, the ticket-selling match, Tsitsipas and Andy Murray. Sad. What type of chance, Carla, and all of you, what type of chance does Andy Murray have of beating Stefanos Tsitsipas?
A big 0.
None?
They're telling Murray, you need to retire, dude. Stop wasting our time. So you know what? Since we have to give you, you know, a spot in the draw, let's give you the toughest dude. Maybe you'll quit on your own. We're trying to tell you in a nice way. That is the worst draw you could give Murray. Disrespectful to the man. How are you going to give someone who had surgery, who's trying to get back, Tsitsipas?
Do you think that was random?
No. That is effed up.
Look,
effed up. You couldn't put him against Bautista Agut? Heck, Krajinovic. Let's pick Schwartzman. Why not? Dimitrov might have a better chance. Evans. Come on.
Tough.
Tsitsipas.
Look, I think you'd be foolish to say he doesn't have a 1% chance.
He doesn't have a 1% chance.
I
he didn't have a chance against Felix. What makes you think he didn't have a chance against Tiafoe with the ugly forehand? How is he going to have a chance against Tsitsipas? Come on, man. They're trying to tell the guy, just freaking retire already. We're tired of watching you limp.
I think you're foolish to not. Obviously, I don't think he's going to win, but to say he doesn't have a shot in the dark, one crying shot in the dark.
If he gets his pink thong, like you said,
yes,
up his butt,
yes,
then perhaps he has a chance.
Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he does have a chance. So you said it yourself. He does have a chance.
Yeah,
you said he has zero chance. Now you say
maybe
he has a chance.
If Murray scares him and starts yelling like he does at his, at his section, like he's like, and maybe if Tsitsipas, like someone mentioned here, takes a bathroom break and he's like, dude, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah.
Maybe he rattles him enough.
Yeah.
But he better hope that Tsitsipas takes a bathroom break so he can rattle him.
That's what I'm saying. Murray is on paper right now has no shot, right? Mm-hmm. But exactly, their chances lie when the lion gets pissed off. Chances create themselves when the bumblebee has their hive, jacked with or messed with, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want to piss Murray off. Now, the only thing that Tsitsipas needs to do is just play his game, hit the ball, hit through the court, not get tied up in any type of antics, and just win the match. But I can assure you, if Stefanos Tsitsipas pulls his pink thong baby stuff, namely talking to daddy, putting his hand on his hips, taking bathroom breaks.
There was a viewer didn't like that you said that.
It doesn't even matter. Look, and the thing is, look, much love to
I forgot his name, M something. He sent 2 messages about you guys, blah, blah, blah. You hate everyone. At least name 20 players that you like. I guess he's an Osaka fan and Tsitsipas fan because he was crying a river.
I can name 20 players that I like.
Me too. Yeah.
That's quite easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, but when we get messages like that, they're fun for us. But, look, I can put on a nice shirt and go outside and half the world will think it's a great shirt. And,
mm-hmm.
and then the other half will think it's a shitty shirt. Mm-hmm. You can't please everybody and you just do your best.
Great question. Who's better? Ying Hao asks, who's better, Peak Murray versus Peak Stefanos? I say Peak Murray.
Peak Murray.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hands down. I mean, Tsitsipas hasn't proven himself yet.
And that's the type of the question I'm trying to raise here is that's a great question, Ying Hao. Yes, the vintage Murray who's won 3 majors is better than the current Tsitsipas because he's won none. There's a song by Toby Keith that's I ain't as good as I once was. And there's a verse in there. I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. And that's how I feel about myself. I limp around most of the time, but sometimes there's that one damn day that I can get out there and damn ball.
That's true. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah. And then it's a tough day at the office. So what I'm saying is if Murray comes out and he has that mindset of let me get this done, or maybe he's down and Tsitsipas starts bickering at daddy or goes and takes a 20-minute restroom break, and then the crowd gets him motivated, and then he changes and flips those gears and
he needs a crowd
and becomes as good as he once was for one night.
He needs a crowd.
He has a chance.
He has a chance. First of all, he needs a night match. That's number 1, right?
Yes.
2, he needs the New York crowd behind him. 3, he needs Tsitsipas to get pissed off as daddy and go take bathroom breaks so he can beat him up after,
Yes.
4, he needs mentally for Tsitsipas to go out a little bit. I think Tsitsipas doesn't have as much confidence as he used to. Like, I picked him at the French Open, but after that, I haven't picked him because I don't believe in him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and Murray is not indecisive when he's hitting the ball. You look at Murray, and and he knows what he's doing. You give him something that he's not expecting, and he still knows how to direct that ball to his best interests, right? Mm-hmm. Tsitsipas is spastic. You watch him play, and you can see he's looking one way and is about to hit the ball this way, and all of a sudden he goes the other way. So he's not really clear on the thought process a lot when he plays, hence why he's kind of spazzes out a lot. So with that said, on paper, Tsitsipas should win, but in reality, Murray has a real good shot, especially being a wild card, meaning he did not have to play through, so he'll be fresh, or as fresh as he can be in that match. Tsitsipas should win and win big, but don't be shocked if Murray wins.
Yeah, John Love. This guy said Justin loves saying spastic.
Love it.
He does.
All right,
and looking for inside or what outside in or something.
Yeah,
I love saying that too.
Okay, then this next match that I'm going to talk about just for a moment. Casper Ruud.
Great comment.
Casper Ruud and asking about Tsonga a little while ago, and 2 years ago I predicted, and a lot of you laughed, that Casper Ruud would make the second week. I said quarterfinals. We made a bet on that. I said Casper Ruud would make at least the quarterfinals. Let's look at that for a second. Just for a second. I hadn't even really looked at it either.
Video is lag.
Is it?
I don't know. I'm gonna check right now.
Is it lag?
Because we can't tell because we're using.
Yeah, we're using, and it looks good on our end. But just let us know.
Yeah.
But let's look at that. Casper Ruud. A lot of you laughed when. Is it vaulted?
It's good now. Yeah.
A lot of you laughed at me when I said that Casper Ruud was guaranteed to make the quarterfinals. Okay, Carla and I even made a bet on that. Mm-hmm. Let's look at it. First round, he plays Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. I think he gets through that match. The next match, he would play a qualifier or Taberner, a Spanish player. I mean, I've heard the name. I haven't seen him play. If he wins that match, he would either get Davidovich Fokina, Gilles Simon, or Taro Daniel. In the quarterfinals, his biggest obstacle would be either a Diego Schwartzman or John Isner. Now, you tell me that Casper Ruud can't get through that.
He can lose to anyone, Justin.
You're getting a tattoo if that happens. You bet on it. You said there's no way in hell. You changed your bet.
No, I picked Isner, and that's why I picked Isner.
She changed. She had a bet that. Her bet during the friendship. What was it? What was the bet? What was the Nadal bet?
Oh, that he would win the U.S. Open.
Yeah, she bet me.
What's my bet? I forgot.
She bet me that Rafael Nadal would win the U.S. Open before he pulled out, and if he didn't,
I marry Michael. Shouldn't you be at school?
What's up? She's one of our students, so she bet me that she would get a tattoo if Rafael Nadal won the U.S. Open. Well, he pulled out. We were talking about this on a show, and I told Carla, now I think Casper Ruud may have a chance to at least get to the final and meet Djokovic, and everyone was laughing. So then I said, okay, if you're so confident, let's change your Nadal bet because he's not playing to Casper Ruud making at least the quarterfinals. And look it. I think Casper Ruud has a chance to get to the semifinals and play Rublev, by the way. Watch out.
I think he'll go out to Isner. He'll go out to Isner.
Well, he would have to get through Medvedev anyway in the quarters. So, I mean, that would be a big obstacle. Medvedev, Ruud. But Ruud, for some reason, I'm just feeling this guy right now. I'm just feeling like he can.
Why? Because you heard my dad say it?
Yeah, your dad even said it. Yes. Her dad mentioned it. I start falling in line with it, checking it out. And look, if we on the last show were talking about Rublev being a little still soft, kind of looks like a kitten. We were talking about Tsitsipas being spastic and daddy's boy. We were talking about who's the other one? Who's the other joker? Oh, Zverev with the puppy hating and all stuff. I was saying, besides those three, besides Zverev, Tsitsipas, and Rublev, who is kind of that fourth person, who's kind of the next in line there?
Casper
Ruud.
That's hilarious.
Look,
have you watched him play?
About 50 times. Have you? Because it doesn't sound like you have.
I have. There's nothing impressive. I mean, I could put it to you this way.
But you picked John Isner and you're calling Ruud not impressive?
Not at all. No. Before, if you go back to the shows at French Open, Justin was talking bad about Casper Ruud. He's like, Casper who? The ghost? Go back to your show. You don't remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you remember.
Can I change my mind at all anyway? We're talking about the U.S. Open. That was
remember.
clay. That was clay. We're on the hard court.
Supposedly the guy was better on clay. Now
he's playing better now.
Court? What has he done?
You took a bet. You're
a
sore loser because you're going
what
to be.
Has Casper done?
You're bitching because now you know you're going to have to get a tattoo. You looked at the draw. Win. You looked at the draw, and now you realize what I'm saying, and now you're being defensive.
What has Casper Ruud done, guys, on hard court? Can someone tell me something he has done this season on hard court?
Sounds like you're being defensive, Carla.
No.
Sounds like
he forgot. He was like Casper who? Casper who? The ghost? You don't remember?
She is seeing the draw and knows that I'm right, and she's going to be getting a tattoo.
She's like, watch both of them lose. Casper Ruud could lose in the first round. Tsonga could be playing lights out. That one match, the New York crowd, same thing. Same thing.
We'll see.
I give Tsonga a better chance against Casper Ruud than Murray against Tsitsipas. Just saying.
Casper Ruud is going to make it to the quarterfinal.
Yeah.
And we will be heading to the nicest artist around.
I'm not worried. I'm good.
All right. Last part that we're going to do on the men's, and then we're going to shift to the women's.
See, this guy said, yes, Justin was laying to Casper earlier.
That's okay.
This year.
That's okay.
See, I remember these things because I remember him saying, Casper who?
I was laying into Tom Brady last year that he wouldn't win a Super Bowl,
and
he won it. And now I think this year that team's the favorite to do it because there's
watch him not win it because
so
you picked it.
I mean, there's ebbs and flows, but I still think Sistipas needs a thong. All right. For the $300 pot that we do for every major, one of the things
did we pick here?
I'm fixing to get there. Okay. So for the U.S. Open, we're doing $300 for anyone that can predict the men's final, the women's final, and both winners. We just got through with the men's. Let me tell you who I have in the men's final and the winner. Okay.
Okay.
I have Djokovic making the final. And I have Djokovic playing Casper Ruud in the final.
Oh my God. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You sure you didn't get too much sun?
Are you sure you didn't?
Go ahead.
I have Djokovic playing Casper Ruud in the final, and I have Djokovic winning his 21st major. Let's get down. Let's go. Boom, boom.
What's up, Darren?
He'll get his 21. Now, look, honestly, do I really think Casper Ruud is going to make the final? No. Okay. Could he? Maybe.
Come on.
Can I finish what I'm saying before you huffle and puff? And can I at least finish my thought before you interject?
I don't want your
a bunch of
I don't want your blood pressure to go up.
But that's just me, man. But every time I start to taste two words, you're like, blah, 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 blah. It's like motor mouth over here.
Casper who? Go ahead.
Look, I don't think Casper Ruud makes the final. There's a chance, but I don't think so. I'm only doing it because a couple shows ago, like you're saying, I said that he would make a quarterfinal. And because I don't win my own stuff anyway, I figured I'd go outlandish. So you all can laugh at me if he doesn't make the quarterfinal. But if he makes the quarterfinal, much less makes the semifinal or the final, everyone out there owes me. Everyone.
Weird John said, Casper Ruud, what he looks like. Exactly my point. Like, what does he even look like? I only know he's got some bright color racket. That's all I can tell you. I couldn't even tell you how he looks because that's what I think of him.
Who do you have for your final, Carla?
I have Zverev playing Medvedev, Zverev winning.
That's even funnier.
No, that's better than Casper Ruud. Casper who?
Casper who? You're talking about Zverev, who looks like a linguine noodle that hates puppies and beats on his wife or ex-wife or girlfriend. Honestly, I think it'll be Djokovic. And then you're talking about But I picked Zverev. You're talking about Medvedev.
Better pick than you. I have a better shot than you.
You're talking about Medvedev, who has no ability to play the net. So you're taking two outlandish picks.
You don't need a net game at the U.S. Open. You do not need a net game. How many times have we proved this, that you do not need a net game at the U.S. Open?
I think you're
This is for flat hitters. This is for aggressive players, okay? The U.S. Open is for aggressive players.
So Pete Sampras never played the set. I never played the net. Patrick Rafter never played.
Justin, the game changed. The game has changed. How many people make it to the net now? How many?
People play the net. They have to be able to play the net. Djokovic made it.
Fast surface at the U.S. Open. Are you telling me that you're going to come to the net a lot of times? A whole 3 out of 5 say you'll make it to the net maybe 6 times. Maybe.
Carla, sometimes I get dumber when you talk. Why? Because if you're a player like Djokovic and you play a player like Medvedev, knowing he doesn't play very well at the net, he's going to drop shot him all day long and bring him up there.
He's not even going to get a chance.
I get if you're just whacking the ball back and forth, you don't get there. But if you're playing a player that is that's playing another player that's highly intelligent and much better and knows you can't play up very well and you're consistent, just like when can I finish what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
Damn it. Just like when Djokovic won Wimbledon. Just like that. Djokovic played Medvedev in the tournament. The journalist asked Djokovic to his face about Medvedev and his lack of the net game. And the journalist would say, and I guess there's going to be some drop shots in there, right? And Djokovic laughed it off. And what did you get? About 3 million drop shots and asinine net play from Medvedev? And you're telling me that this bozo is going to make the U.S. Open final?
Grass. Hardcore.
Oh, shit.
Wait a minute. You don't think Medvedev?
You just said the court was playing faster.
Medvedev's side. Have you seen Medvedev's side? Tsitsipas going to beat him? You're telling me this guy is not going to make it to the final?
I don't even have either one of those there.
Oh, brother, man.
You know who
He'll
I
make it to a
you know
final.
who I have on my side over here?
Yeah, Casper Ruud.
I have Casper Ruud and Rublev.
Gary, let me tell you guys, if Medvedev wins the US Open, Justin will have to swallow his words about the guy has no net game. And then you will say, yeah, Carla told
He's not
you.
going to win the U.S. Open. He's not going to win it. I'm not even worried about it. You don't go bet on that. Look, I tell you what, if you bet on Medvedev to win the U.S. Open, you are absolutely just naive and just smoking some crazy garbage. There's no way in hell Medvedev's going to win the U.S. Open.
Okay. Because he needs a net game at the U.S. Open.
Yeah. Because if he plays a player like
You telling me
Djokovic,
that
he'll expose that.
You telling me he can't volley at least 2 volleys? Like he can't put his racket out in front volley?
If he had – anybody can do that. Do you want to take Medvedev out on the court and feed him a bucket of balls and give him the ball right here? Here, I'm going to feed one of your forehand. Of course he can
Jack
make that.
Nolte say he has more chances than Ruud.
I don't think so. We'll see. We'll see. I can't wait for this. I can't wait to watch Medvedev matches, and I can't wait to watch Ruud matches. I can't wait.
I'm gonna be.
When the hell's Ruud playing, man? I forgot who was even playing in the first round.
Do you even know how he looks?
Come on, Casper. All right. Now my most exciting part of the U.S. Open this year is going to be watching Casper Ruud. I can't freaking wait.
Darren LeBeau said Chilik won the U.S. Open. It rarely came to the net.
Good point. But playing Djokovic that, can expose those weaknesses.
Okay, anyways. He's a flat ball hitter. It helps him.
I tell you
if it's Wimbledon, I would agree with you.
Tell you what. All right, let's go to the women's side. All right. Women's side. So we were chatting with some people earlier. And on the women's side, basically, we have been told it's just Barty and Osaka. Nothing else matters. It's just Barty and Osaka. Disagree totally. There's a lot in between Barty and Osaka that I think can happen. So let's just put it this way. I'm going to go ahead and tell you a player out there that has beaten Osaka before, ended up at the Australian Open, if I remember correctly. Call me out on that if not. It's Coco Gauff. Coco Gauff's young. She may not be ready to win her first major, but she has the ability to do so. So Osaka has been in the media for all the wrong reasons as of late. We've talked about this. I don't even want to talk about that anymore. But I think that, and on top of the last couple of matches I've watched Osaka play, she looks a little puffy. Her face looks a little puffy. Her arms look a little puffy. In other words, she doesn't look in pristine shape just right now. I think with that said, if Osaka and Gauff met, which they could, not saying they will, I think it would be like a 4th round or a quarterfinal or something. That I would like to say I would want to see Gauff win that. And because of that, I chose Gauff, number 1, to make the final, and number 2, as on my fantasy team, because seeded 21, that's a 2-point play. I took Gauff.
ICLQDY said, long time, and your hair grew. I don't remember him, but he said that Coco Gauff is still immature, not yet.
Well, I mean, that's a good comment. Well,
Adeyemi, yes.
Yeah. Welcome back, by the way. Coco Gauff is young. She is young, and but immature.
You mean the game? Immature in the game?
Yeah.
Yes. She still has some maturing to do.
Yes. In the game, in terms of off the court, I think she's very mature for her age. But on the court, yes, she tends to get down on herself a lot when she doesn't need to do so. In other words, you can watch Coco Gauff and she'll be up a break, right? She'll miss an easy forehand and get flustered. Instead of just saying, okay, no problem, just next ball. She gets down on herself a lot. That's something that she'll have to just learn and deal with, because sometimes when we get down on our patterns, we change direction too quick or not quick enough. So we kind of get off our game. But I think Coco Gauff with this New York crowd has a really good chance of doing well. And look, again, I think she makes the final. I do. I think Barty makes the final on the other side. And I think Barty is too classy, too consistent, and too much of a player with too much variety. Hold on before you get me off track.
No, I'm gonna grab. I want to see something.
You're gonna show everybody my drawing, so I didn't even look at it. That's what you're gonna do.
No, that's so you're that confident in women's. You're that confident in women's that you just picked the. I know you went through it.
Yeah, you don't need to do all that.
Yeah, okay.
There's just no need.
You know what, Darren? I like your comment. Del Potro won the U.S. Open. He barely came to the net.
I think that's a good point. He wasn't missing his spots. He hit big the entire tournament. That's great. I mean, I'm not saying that it won't or will happen, but you can't say that it's absolutely no chance in hell. And if you say that, then I don't really. We're not on the same song sheet.
You're a coach, right, Darren?
Everyone has a chance.
And a player.
Everyone has a chance.
Yeah.
Everyone has a chance.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Medvedev has a chance.
They wouldn't be in the draw. You know, there wouldn't be tournaments if everybody didn't have a chance. So if we're reflecting back on Casper Ruud again, or who, I mean, if you're number 8 in the world or seeded in the tournament, rather, then you have a chance. Or why the hell would you have the tournament in the first place?
Yeah. This guy said, I don't think people even realize that Barty won Wimbledon. She wasn't even fully fit.
That's what I'm saying. I
don't know that she was. I think she was fit.
I have Barty winning this tournament. I have her going to the final against Goff and beating Goff.
Let's see. What's the other question? Am I on the Zverev train? I mean, I'm not really in the Zverev train. I just think he has a good chance. I mean, I feel like these guys, now is their time to do something. Yeah. Hello. I mean, you know, Djokovic has played a lot. Now is your time to prove yourself. Come on. You only got to face one guy. The other guy pulled out. Here's your chance to win. That's why I pick him.
I think we saw a funny cartoon today.
Oh, yeah, I can show it.
Do you have that?
I think I have
the
it.
cartoon depicts Novak Djokovic walking through a hospital ward with his rack bag and in bed, sitting there watching Djokovic walk by.
I was laughing.
Was TM, Federer, and Nadal. This is classic. See, there's Djokovic. Oh, yeah, keep it there for a minute. See, there's Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, TM. He's just walking by like, see ya.
I thought that was cute.
That was excellent.
That was cute, whoever did it.
Yeah, again, it'd be hard to bet against Djokovic getting his 21st. It is Djokovic in the field. Okay, top half of the women's draw. I'm going to run through this quickly because there's 2 heavy-hitting favorites, and I think there's a lot more. But nonetheless, women's top half of the draw. We've got Barty up there in the top half. I don't think she is any danger at all outside of watch out for Muhova, Carolina Muhova.
Yes.
She can ball.
Yes.
And watch out for the big hitting Jennifer Brady because she's playing in her backyard, but that's a tall task. Jennifer
She
Brady
hasn't played as much.
She hasn't played as much.
Yeah.
Didn't she make the final last year?
Yeah, but she's been injured, so she hasn't played much.
Yeah.
So that's why I couldn't pick her. I would have loved to pick her, but instead I said, you know what, Barty, Muhova, they'll meet in the 4th round.
Yeah, come down a section or 2. Belinda Bencic up there, the gold. She's playing a tough little Aranxa Rus in the first round. Everybody always laughs at me about that, but Aranxa Rus was supposed to be a top-notch pro player. She was a solid junior, just never really happened. Coco Vandeweghe is here. By the way, Coco Vandeweghe is my wild card pick for my 3-point play on the fantasy teams. However, I may change that. Again, when you turn in your teams, if you're playing, don't change them because we may miss it. I'm just telling you that because when I read them at the end, I may change it because Qualies has not completed yet. So if you're playing, I would wait till Qualies ends before you send in your team for a bunch of cash. But I have Vandeweghe in there. However, Kanju is coming through Qualies. I think Kanju is the 1 seed in Qualies, and I like Kanju a lot. So if Kanju comes through Qualies, based upon where she would be seated or who she would match up against in the main draw, I may take her. So Vandeweghe I have currently as my wild card 3-point player. Mm-hmm. She was given the wild card, so she's in. So we'll see how that goes. Moving down a little bit, Kontaveit is there. Big hitting Kontaveit. We have Jessica Pagula, the billionaire's daughter. I hate to say that, but it's true. But nonetheless, she's a fighter.
She can make the quarters. I have her making the quarters.
Iga Swiatek is down there. Carolina Plishkava. This is the first U.S. Open I have not selected Carolina Plishkava in the past 4 years of doing it on this channel. Carla did for the first time in 4 years. Why?
Because I feel like she just has the game. Again, she is like Medvedev. They have the same style. So I don't understand why he doesn't like Medvedev when Plishkava plays the same way. She hits flat. She really has no net game. There's no strategy. Medvedev has more of a strategy than Plishkava, but yet he likes her. But I feel like this surface is for big hitters, the big risky players, the ones who like to end the point quick. Has done so well at the U.S. Open. That's why I think Barty will have a harder time here because she will face those type of players that hit the ball hard. So I definitely think Plishkava will meet Barty in the semifinals, even though I think Barty could still beat her. This guy said because Plishkava is pretty. Maybe that's why he picks her. Plishkava can make some noise. Yes. Furzio9 says this guy 1,000. She used 10 points quickly in 2014. Oh, you guys are talking about Halep. Yeah, Halep, from what we heard, we were watching the qualifying rounds. They said she had a lot of Band-Aid on her leg or something, and I didn't even pick her. Who's the next player that we got here? Let's look. We got Pavlinchenkova, the number 14 seed, who's playing Allison Risk. Badosa, which I know many of you guys like, you know, they're going to probably pick Badosa because they think she's very pretty.
Yeah, sorry about that. Someone mentioned a comment just a moment ago about Halep.
Yeah.
Doesn't Simona Halep play? Doesn't Simona Halep play Camila Giorgi in the first round?
Yes.
I
She's on
chose
the other draw.
Yeah, I chose Giorgi to beat Halep in the first round. Call me crazy. I was watching Halep practice. Halep was practicing in the heat. She was hitting forehands, she was hitting backhands, and she was significantly wrapped up. She was taped up. And, you know, that's no big deal when I play. You know, I'm taped up, but I'm 44 and have a surgically repaired, ruptured patellar tendon, full knee reconstruction in my right knee. So I'm taped up. But that's that. And this is her.
She has a tear.
So, yeah, she was out hitting. And it didn't look like she was hitting very clean, just, you know, on the practice court. Anyway, but looking behind, you could see her body language. She was like shaking her head a lot. She was negative. She was like, no, I mean, you couldn't hear her talk. She was on a distant practice court. And you could just see her body language didn't seem too positive. So I think it could be even possible that you see Simona Halep even pull out entirely and wind up with a lucky loser. So if you're playing fantasy, and I haven't heard this, I'm just speculating, totally just assuming that it's a possibility that Halep doesn't play the tournament based upon the body language that I saw from her on the practice court. Now, if that does happen and she pulls out, then that would put a lucky loser to play a hot Camila Giorgi. And no, not hot that she's hot. She is hot, but I mean, she's hot. She's hot in terms of her game right now. She's playing very good tennis. And I think that Giorgi beats Halep,
because she's injured, I believe. Yeah, because she's injured.
Yeah, I think Giorgi, fresh and right now ripe and ready to go, I think beats a marginal Halep, whether she finishes or not.
Right, I agree with you. That's why I couldn't even touch Halep. When I saw the first match, Giorgi, I was like, ouch, that's a tough match for someone who has a tear, trying to play the U.S. Open, hasn't played many tournaments, skipped the French Open, I think, right? Skip Wimbledon.
Yeah.
I don't know. She just hasn't had a good year. But anyways, we were up to Plishkava.
Yeah. Now, in Plishkava's section is a player, Carla, that you've watched since she was a baby girl, little tiny thing. And here she is, and that is Amanda Anisimova. Amanda Anisimova was at one point in juniors, you know, supposed to be like, she was everything. She came on tour, you know, she made a little bit of noise, and then the unfortunate happened. She lost her father, which is a big part of any little girl's life. You know, there's no replacement for a little girl's father, right? You know, daddy is everything. And that's great. That's the way it should be. It's the way it is, as long as it's a good daddy, right? I like to think my daughters, you know, I seem like I can yell at my boys, but I can never yell at my daughters. Like I can see my son, I'm like, what the, get the, but my girls, I'm like, okay, I'll handle that, you know? But Anisimova is someone I always like to watch, only because of what she's been through, only because we watched her as a junior moving up through the ranks, and only because of her losing her father and so many other things that we love to see and track how she does.
May never recover. I agree.
May never recover.
Spencer. Yeah, loss of her dad. It seems like she's just, it's the hunger is not there. Maybe.
Yeah, tough deal. But this is a girl we watched fully develop. Petra Martic is there. In that section, I have to agree with Carla. I have to agree with that Plishkova is going to sail through that section. I don't think Martic is going to have much to say about it. Now, Plishkova can get off her mark. In other words, Plishkova can miss her serve, and then when she misses the serve, her ground strokes break down. We can watch Plishkova be in the zone, and then all of a sudden she is checked out. It happens, and Carla always says this, because of her lack of her energy, a lack of her focus, a lack of her fire in terms of as a human being. She calls her a zombie player, right? As long as that doesn't happen, I think Plishkova sails through that section. Moving down, Badosa. I've never jumped on the bandwagon, only because watching her for a couple of years, it's always been about she's just a really beautiful girl.
And she plays the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
Let's be real. What weapons does she have that you can say, ooh, that's a player that can win a slam? I don't see that from her. To me, Badosa is like Martic, like, let me pick another player. A little bit less than Pagula, close to Benchik. I'm just talking about as far as like where they're going to be seated.
Yeah.
You know, she could be, she's just not, I don't ever see her doing anything big. And in hard court, I don't think so. Just saying.
Yeah. Badosa to me is a run-of-the-mill player. She is a beautiful girl. Let me say that. You know, a lot of people say we don't like all these players. It's not that we don't like a lot of players. It's just that we've lived our whole life in the game. We've coached it for 22 years and played it since little children. So, you know, to some people, they see people like Tsitsipas and they're like, oh, Tsitsipas. And we're like, you know, whatever. It's just because we've seen so many players over our lives. And sometimes there's just the same type of player. And Badosa is one of those players. However, I like Badosa here in this section and in this lower part of the top half of the draw. Why? Because of all those players that hit the same way and play the same game, she's slightly better than I think all of the players below her just right now. Not in history. I mean, I'd be foolish to say that Kvitova, who's below her, is worse than Badosa. I mean, Kvitova is a much better caliber player.
Much better.
But right now where we are in 2021, given the circumstances, given COVID, given some recent results.
Kvitova could lose to anyone too.
Exactly.
I can't even jump. I would love for her to win another slam. She can go to her Sog, who's a fighter. You know, she could lose in the first round.
Hence why I chose Badosa as a 2-point play on my fantasy team. We'll read our teams off at the end, which is coming up. Badosa below. We have Sakari. Okay. The reason why I've never been able to jump on the Sakari train is because she continues to hit off her back foot on the forehand side. It's okay to hit off the back foot on the forehand side. Number one, if we're on the run. Number two, if we're late. Number three, if we're going down the line. But when we're trying to go cross court that
you see out of the top 100.
Okay, it might be bad.
It's the same thing as you see as out of the top 100. There's nothing spectacular there. I was reading some comments here about Andreescu's blaming her eating. I guess I'm gaining weight. Duh.
We talked about that. We've talked about this.
Duh. I like Anshabur. Yeah, I think
we've talked about Andreescu and her entire injury-plagued history is 100%, in my opinion, related to her woes with her physique. When we first started this show, ask B-Doggo2 out there. Ask Sister the Queen. Ask Dark Knight. Ask Millennium 13. All these are great players. Uh-oh.
No, go ahead. I'm watching it here.
But it says it there.
I know, but I'm watching it here, so don't worry about it.
And she's a great player. But we would say, you know, when we pound our legs all day and we play in the heat, we play all day long, you know, it's a repetitive effect. It's like the sun, skin cancer. You know, the sun gets on your skin and